We're going to look at listing using ScanLister in scan and label mode to send your products to FBA. Now, what we found is that this is the most reliable, quickest way to list your products using ScanLister. There's a lot of different workflows you can use, but this is the one we currently recommend if you're sending products to FBA. So we're going to start by going to your settings menu, and you want to confirm a couple settings here. So this first option up here, as you can see, I've got a green check mark. This is what you want to see for scan and label mode. Obviously, if it's turned off, you have the red check mark. Now, if you are using a thermal label printer, such as a Zebra or a Dymo or a Rollo printer, you want to have your auto print FNSKU label selected, as I have here. This way, your labels will print each time you scan a book, and you can label the products as you go. Okay. Now, if you are not using a thermal label printer, say you want to print 30 up sheets, you can do that later in the listing process, and I'll show you how to do that. Or you're having Amazon label the products for you, so you're not using, you're not labeling your products at all. If that's the case, then you can go ahead and uncheck this. And as long as you have this first option checked, you'll be able to use scan and label mode just fine. So the next thing you want to look at is if you do use a laser printer, you want to go over to your print settings here. And this is where you can set up your printers. Okay, so you just want to make sure, at least for this first part for the FBA labels, in our case here, we're not going to be using the ticketing system right now or 2D barcode, so we can ignore this for the moment. And we've got our Rollo printer set up in here, so we're good to go. And if you do make any changes, you want to make sure that you're hitting your save settings, and you'll get the pop-up to confirm. And once you confirm you're good to go, you can close the window. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at our listing method. As you can see here, we have bulk listing selected. I'm going to show you an example of listing in bulk listing and in detailed listing mode. So those are the two listing modes that we have. You can switch back and forth between them as much as you would like, depending on the types of products you're listing and how you want to approach getting the information in the system. Okay. So at this point, we've got our drop down conditions here, and we're going to choose very good for these. And we've just got one note available for that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to scan in a few books in very good condition. Start there. And as we scan, our label's printing. We can label the product. And then once it's in, we can move on to the next. Very good. And that went in good. So we'll move on to the next one. And now that we've got 3 in there, we'll go ahead and switch our condition to acceptable. And we'll list a couple acceptable books. And there we go. We've got a few books in. So now we're going to go ahead and switch our listing mode. And let's say, for example, we want to list in detailed listing. We're going to go ahead and scan our book in. And this time it's going to ask us to walk through some steps here. As you can see, we have our pricing information. Now, this is the pricing information that's pulled by Amazon servers. So sometimes it's missing some of the products, and it's just the way Amazon's price feed servers work. In this case, this book has some very low offers, and you can look at the offers here to get a comparison of where you should be pricing this product. And now in this case, again, we're just doing a test listing here. We're going to go ahead and say we're going to list this book for $9. And then we're going to go to the grade section. And when we do that, that's where we can put in all of our details on the condition. So in this case, we'll say it's good, book in good condition, maybe covers in good condition, binding is good, and ships direct from Amazon. Okay, so we'll choose those options for the note, and we'll finish grading. And once we do that, it's going to bounce us back to our main screen, where we can just move on to the next one. And we'll go ahead and scan our next book. And as you can see, all of our pricing information comes up. and we can look at the used and new offers. In this case, we'll get that pop out the side there. And once we have this, we can get a real good idea of where we should be pricing this. So again, we'll just, as an example here, we'll just say $9 on this as well. And then we'll go to the grade section, and maybe this one will be in very good condition. Binding is tight. Um, Covers very good condition. And we don't have to select all these. These are just presets that we can adjust as necessary and make them whatever we want them to be so that we can list quick. You can see our example of what our note will look like down here. And then we'll just click finish grading. And again, it'll bounce us back to our main screen. And we'll go through this again. And this one here, we're going to say this is, let's leave this price here. We're going to grade this, and we're going to say this is like new. And we'll just leave it there with no note, and we'll finish grading. And this will bring us back to our main screen. Now at this point, let's just say that we decide we want to switch back to bulk listing mode. We can do that with no problem at all. We're going to choose our condition. Very good. And going to be ready to scan in our next book here. And then we'll go ahead and scan in one more book. Okay, excellent. So everything is in there. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and go to the next step. Now, this is where ScanLister really makes things easy. If you want to create your shipments, all you have to do at this point is go to List and then Preview Shipments. You can go right to step 3. And if you look, you'll see it'll take a moment, and it's kind of processing everything on Amazon servers. And we can see it's giving me one warehouse location, proposed warehouse, and here's all the items we listed. So what we would do, assuming that we want to go ahead and approve these shipments, we're just going to create shipments and finish. And it's going to give you this confirmation window. And this will take just a moment here as it's creating the shipments. And there you go. It's going to tell us that our shipments are created successfully. And so the next thing we're going to do is go on Amazon, and we're going to finish out this shipment. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so here we are in Seller Central, and this should look familiar. Now, you may have the old navigation system. Amazon is making some changes to their website. So if your menus come from the sides like mine do here, I'm going to show you how this looks. You're able to put custom shortcuts on the top, which I have here just to explain what you're seeing. And you would just go to Inventory and then go to Manage FBA Shipments. And that's going to bring you right to this screen. This is where we want to go. If you have the old navigation system, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so if you're using the old navigation, your menus will come down from the top, kind of like we see here. So in this case, we would just go to Inventory and Manage FBA Shipments. That'll bring us to the same screen that we have here. And so at this point, we're going to click Work on Shipments. And as you can see, we've got our shipment right here that we just made, and it's the only one that's highlighted Work on Shipment. Once we click on that button, it's going to bring us to the shipment screen here. And this is where we're going to complete out our shipment. Now, as I mentioned before, if you are using 30 up label sheets, this is where you're going to be able to print your labels. So the way to do that is just click Review and Modify Units right here. Once we click that, we'll see that these are the items in our shipment. And if you need to remove any items, of course, or edit any quantities, you can do that here. But also, this is where you're just going to choose your 30 up label format and just click print. Okay. Now, if you've already printed your labels, you can ignore that. No need to do anything else. So we're just going to scroll down. We're going to put our number of boxes and our weights and dimensions of each box in there. Obviously, if we're using box contents, that is a separate video that you can look in how to do that. But for right now, we're going to keep it simple. So we're going to say that we have one box, and it's going to be 12 by 12. And we'll get a weight here. And we've got a weight of 12 pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And once we've got our weight and our dimensions of our boxes in, all we have to do is hit calculate. Amazon is going to process this label for us. It's giving me a quote on the cost of my shipping label. I simply select the I agree. Of course, you want to read through all these very carefully, but you can just accept the charges here. And once it does that, it's going to give you the opportunity to print your box labels and makes it really easy for you. You can select a thermal printing paper if you have a thermal label printer, or you choose this other option if you have just a normal printer. And basically, it's going to give you 2 labels per box. So it's going to give you your UPS shipping label. It's going to give you your FBA label that goes on the outside of the box, the shipping box. And that's it. Once you put your labels on, go ahead and just click print to print those labels. Once you got your labels on, you're just going to hit complete shipment and then you're done. So let's go ahead and print these and finish it up. So we've clicked print, we've got our labels, and we're just going to hit complete shipment and we're all done. That's it. That's all you need for scan and label mode.